अनन्तं विभुं निर्विकल्पं निरीहं शिवं सङ्गहीनं यदोङ्कारगम्यं निराकारमत्युज्ज्वलं मृत्युहीनं परं ब्रह्म नित्यं तदेवाहमस्मि। नमो नमस्ते गुरवे महात्मने विमुक्तसंगाय सदुत्तमाय नित्याद्वयानन्दरसस्वरूपिणे भूम्ने सदा पारदयाम्बुधाम्ने नमस्ते नमस्ते विभो विश्वमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते चिदानन्दमूर्ते नमस्ते नमस्ते तपोयोगगम्य नमस्ते नमस्ते श्रुतिज्ञानगम्य स्वाराज्य साम्राज्य विभूतिरेषा भवत्कृपा श्रीमहिमप्रसादात् प्राप्ता मया श्रीगुरवे महात्मने नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमो नमस्तेस्तु पुनर्नमोस्तु नमस्तस्मै सदैकस्मै कस्मै चिन्महसे नमः यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते यदेतद्विश्वरूपेण राजते गुरुराजते। Hari Om Tat Sat. We will chant from Arjuna's question, that is 36th shloka of 3rd chapter. अथ केन प्रयुक्तोऽयं पापं चरति पुरुषः अनिच्छन्नपि वाष्णेय बलादिव नियोजितः। श्रीभगवानुवाच काम एष क्रोध एष रजो गुणसमुद्भवः महाशनो महापाप्मा विद्येनमिह वैरिणम्। So here, that why people are, in spite of their knowledge, this we discussed the last day, that in spite of their knowledge, knowing that it is not taking me to the auspicious path, they still do sinful acts. Sinful means whatever constricts them, selfish acts, out of greed, out of various things. Knowing that it is not all right, it will not take me to the auspicious goal, they do. That was the question. Here, kama esha, krodha esha. See, because kama and krodha are not separate, kama leads to krodha, as they have already discussed in the 2nd chapter 2.62, there around. That is why they have used kama esha, krodha esha. That is kama, that is krodha, and singular ekavachanam everywhere. Rajoguna samudbhavaha. They have not used dvivachana. Similarly, Mahashanaha, Mahapapma, all are singular they have used. They have not distinguished. And they, Krodha further, they will not speak about also. Because in the second chapter they have already said, Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha Smriti Bhramshat Buddhinashat Pranashyati. This is the whole sequence how man fall. There they have said Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha Sangasteshu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha. So Kama is not right in the beginning. Constantly thinking about the Vishaya with possessiveness, whatever we want to possess, clinging to what I like, hating what we dislike, the constant thought actually creates the Kama in us. That Sangha, clinging to it, constantly thinking, we develop the Sangha, and that Sangha gives rise to the Kama. This I had explained, giving you example also. This is true of the other side also. Suppose you don't like a person, A and B do not like C, then if A and B speak blamefully about C, by that their hatred towards C will go on increasing. By constantly thinking about C, his avagunas, his or her doshas, the defects, their hatefulness will go on increase. It is the mind hours we are spending on each subject in Vishaya that makes us develop the Kama or the Dvesha, Raga or Dvesha, the hatred or clinging. That we should understand. And that is the technique in spirituality also. As by thinking of Vishaya, thinking of fragmented things, thinking of Raga, Dvesha, likes and dislikes, we become fragmented, we start clinging to what we like and hating what we dislike. In spirituality, what do? We start thinking of the one soul which is embracing everything. Even the bad people and good people are also in that. By thinking of this oneness, uniformity, all pervasiveness, that same mind starts becoming uniform, integrated, and freed of Raga Dvesha. So, seeing the defect, investigating into it, what is the fundamental defect, we apply the treatment corresponding to that. So, it all depends on our spending mind hours. That we should understand. There is no difficult sadhana here. We should be ready to spend the mind hours on it. That is, if you go on spending mind hours on the Raga Dvesha, it will increase. The more you spend mind hours on compassion, love, nobility, uniformity, oneness, the mind will become like that. That is what he is going to suggest also. So he says, Mahashanaha, Mahapapma, they are the Kama is the most sinful, and it is never going to end. It is like fire, where you put more and more ghee, it will blaze forth more. Know that is your real enemy. Dhumena vriyate vanhihi yathadarsho malena cha yatholvena vrito garbha tatha tene damavritam avritam jnanametena jnanino nitya vairina kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena nalena cha. He says that dhumena avriyate vanhihi. There some examples, common examples are given. They are only to be understood to a certain extent. No examples is giving us the full truth. It is only giving some illustration. That as there is fire, with fire there will be, the fire is creating the smoke. Smoke is product of the fire. But that smoke is covering the fire. We are not able to see the fire, it is covered by the smoke. Like that, the knowledge also, the imperfect knowledge of the world will create the avarana for the true knowledge. And until we are able to see through the avarana, through the imperfections, the delusions, the delusion is like the dhuma, like the smoke. Although that is also created by our consciousness only. Unless we see the world, nobody would have thought about truth at all. So it is the world which is making us look for the truth. But at the same time, this world is deluding us also. In Kathopanishad, it is in the 3rd chapter or so, he says that Brahma, the creator Brahma, has created as if out of neglect. As if out of neglect, with our indriyas always outgoing. Never looking in, seeing that who am I who is looking into the outside world. Paranchi khani vyatrinat swayambhuhu tasmat parang pashyati naantaratman. Kaschid dhiraha pratyag atmanam aikshat avritta chakshuhu amritatvam icchan. He says that paranchi khani means the indriyas are always looking for outside. Vyatrinat swayambhuhu. Swayambhu is the Brahma, the creator. Swayambhu has created. Vyatrinat means as if like grass. That means out of neglect. He has created us like that. So, tasmat parang pashyati naantaratman. So, with our consciousness, we are always seeing outside, not looking within. Who am I who is looking outside? This is, we are created. But there is a way out also. Kaschid dhiraha. They are saying that there are some wise people who, looking into the world and finding its monotony, its same causality in a cycle going on like that, they start inquiring that where lies the truth? Who am I who is going through this process of cyclic process of getting up in the morning, going to this, doing that, and night again going to sleep, again coming back. This gatanugatikata, the repeated thing I am doing. And it is not leading me anywhere. There is no evolution, no growth at all. Going the same way round and round. So they try looking within that who am I who is watching this world. And by that they discovered that looking within, why? Amritatvam icchan. That everything is changeful in this outer world. Everything is transient. Everything is changeful. Is there not anything changeless on whom this changefulness is seen? Any changeful thing has to be seen on the background of a changelessness. So is there nothing changeless within? They start looking in. And they discover. Tasmat parang pashyati naantaratman. Kaschid dhiraha pratyag atmanam aikshat avritta chakshuhu amritatvam icchan. Pratyag atmanam aikshat. That means they found, they discovered the pratyagatma. Pratyagatma means when you look within, you discover the Atma, that I, the real I. So there is the possibility of our discovering, looking within and discovering the truth. But we do not use our consciousness, we do not use our self-will, self-effort to do that. So it is the same consciousness which is creating the dhuma of delusion. The fire which is causing the smoke, it is the same consciousness which is giving the world picture. But looking at the world picture, if somebody inquires into that where is that Agni, where is the real consciousness, then he discovers that something is there as immortal, eternal, which never undergoes any change. So, dhumena vriyate vanhi. This vanhi word has come from vaha, that is vahati, which carries, because fire was used as a vehicle to carry our yajna to the devas. That is why the Agni was called vanhi. Vahati havyam devarthamiti. Vahati havyam devarthamiti, which is carrying the havya. Havya means whatever we offer to the fire, to the Deva. In these also there is lot to be thought about. All these practices, actually what are we doing? We are worshipping nature with its own power. Say in Chhat, I went to see that what they are doing, they are showing light. To whom? To Surya. Surya is giving us light. We are showing Surya the light. Havya, it is whether the actual offering is led to the Surya. The Vedas say that if the Havya is done properly, with the proper mindset, everything, mantra, etc., then it goes to the Aditya, it goes to the Surya. Now, it is not necessary that something is going to the Surya like that. All the rituals, they have their meaning on ourself only. We are using this natural power always. If we are attentive about and grateful about the nature, about their powers, if we institute that attention in us, we will be benefited by that power automatically. By worshipping the sun, what are we doing? We are incorporating gratefulness and the reality, the value of sun in our mind. The value of the sunlight in our mind. If you are worshipping the river, what are we doing? We are pouring the same water, the river water in the river. So, and mantras always you will find that you have given us and we are giving you back. In the beginning you found that the Yajna Shishta Shinas Santo, that those who take the whatever after Yajna, whatever is left. By that always we are only offering whatever is given by nature to that. By that what is happening? Parasparam bhavayanta. Remember in the beginning we were studying all those slokas. By this mutual thought means it is not necessary that Surya is thinking of us or God is thinking of us. God may not be there also, it does not matter. It is all to do with us, that when we are attentive about the entire comprehensive reality that we are supported by, that gives us a much greater power in our mind. It is a mind becomes powerful by knowing that I am not a small segregated from the universal truth. Mind, it is part of the cosmic mind. I am also part of the cosmic existence. It makes us fearless, it makes us big, it makes us expanded. All worships are like that. When we do the arati with the lamp, we are showing the face of the idol with the lamp. Is it not so? Because it is in the Garbhagriha, it's not seen clearly, so we are doing the arati to show the idol. But at that time, the mantra we are chanting is Natatra Suryo Bhati Na Chandra Tarakam Nema Vidyuto Bhanti Kuto Vayam Agnihi Tameva Bhantam Anubhati Sarvam Tasya Bhasa Sarvamidam Vibhati. That we are saying that in that truth, there is no question of even the sun shining or the moon shining. Or in other words, the sun cannot show the truth, the moon cannot show the truth. Even the lightning cannot show the truth. Then where is the question of this lamp showing the truth? That is what we are saying. Na tatra suryo bhati na chandra tarakam nema vidyuto bhanti kuto ayam agnihi. Where is the question of this lamp showing you the truth? What is that? Tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. It is by your prakasha, by your brilliance that everything is shining. And everything is revealed by you. So where is the question of this lamp revealing you? See, we are doing the arati, but in the ritual we have coined the real truth. That this light cannot show you. It is within. And with that consciousness, everything gets revealed. The whole external world gets revealed. All our pujas are like that. Even while pouring water on Shiva, what is Shiva, meaning of Shiva? Shiva means Mangala. Shiva means, actually, truly speaking, Shiva means Atma. When the Shiva goes away, the body becomes Shava. Shiva means the Atma, the real Atma actually, the true Atma, that is the consciousness, all pervading consciousness. So when we are pouring the water, this water is a parallel of our mind. And what is happening when we are pouring the water, the Shiva Linga is becoming cool by our pouring the water. Actually, if we do it in a concentrated, with proper attention and concentration, you will find that you will get a coolness in the mind while doing it. Actually, you are pouring the water on Shiva means what? You are getting infused in the Atma. Is it not? Shiva means the Atma. When we are pouring our mind on Atma, what does it mean? The mind is getting infused with the Atma. And it will definitely produce a calmness, a coolness within. So it is not the linga getting cooled, but our mind getting cooled in the process. So this Vanhi also, that the fire is carrying, it is not necessarily that whatever we are offering, it is carrying to the Surya by that. But it is our mindset. The whole universe is in our mind. When the mind gets connected to the Surya, the mind becomes powerful. It is all the worships are to make our mind powerful. Dhumena vriyate vanhi yathadarsho malena cha. Exactly like that, the mirror, it is, adarsha also has come from adrish. Drish means dekhna. So adarsha means which allows us to see ourselves. But when it is dusty, you cannot see ourselves. It has to be clean. Like that, this knowledge is to see ourselves. This jnana is for whom? It is not knowing Atma who is different from us. You get my point? We are saying Atma is this, na jayate na mriyate va kadachit. When the body is killed, Atma does not get killed. Atma is not something that the body is killed, Atma doesn't kill. Atma can be known only as the amness in us. It is what all the glories of the Atma are true of ourselves, our own real identity. So the knowledge which they are teaching, this knowledge is only to see ourselves without the delusion, see our real self. In the mirror, what are we doing? We are seeing ourselves, but if there is a malinata, if there is dust, you cannot see yourself. So this knowledge is getting covered by the kama and we are not able to see ourselves. Because of the desire, there is a tendency to always go outward. Always look for something I will enjoy. Look for something I will possess. That is the kama. And that is not, this outward tendency is not allowing us to see ourselves. So when that kama dust is removed, the jnana shows ourselves. That is the mirror. You get anything from here. They are all very significant, provided we think, we meditate on it. So it's not just simply an example that when the mirror is dirty, we cannot see. It is, we can say like that also, translation is only that much. But if you want, you can go to any level. All words can be explained at different levels. You can go to any level you want. If you take it to the ultimate level, you will reach the truth in anything, whatever we do. Yatholvena avrito garbhaha. Garbhaha means the bhruna inside. Actually, the womb is garbha, but here garbha means the bhruna, that means the fetus inside, which is covered with the ulvena. Ulva means the amniotic fluid. The fetus remain covered with a sac of the fluid. So as that is also covered, as the fetus is covered with the amniotic fluid, tatha tena idam avritam. Like that, tena idam avritam. That means tatha kamena jnanam avritam. Tatha tena idam avritam means tatha tena tritiya idam avritam. Idam means the jnana. And tena means by the kama. Kamena jnanam avritam. This is the meaning. Any difficulty? That's, we should read with them. This amniotic fluid actually protects the fetus. Without that, the fetus will not be able to live. But suppose when the the baby comes out, then also the fluid remains covered, then it will not be able to breathe, it will die. It has to be rejected, then only it will get back to life. But initially it is a cover. It is protecting it. Avritam jnanametena jnanino nityavairina kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena nalena cha. He says, Avritam jnanam etena. Etena means kamena. By the kama, jnanam is avrita. Just now I said. Jnaninaha nitya vairina. Jnaninaha is shashti, ekavachanam. That means he is the nitya vairi. Always it is the enemy of the jnanis. For the jnanis it is a constant enemy. For the others it is occasional enemy. Why? When the kama is enjoyed, they enjoy it. It is not enemy for them. But when they want to get rid of it, later on that kama produces dukkha, then it becomes an enemy. That is, if it overshoots, then only it will become a vairi. Suppose by kama you are attracted and you are doing it, the greed goes beyond the limit, then it becomes your enemy. Till then you enjoy the kama, that is okay. But for the jnanis it is nitya vairi because it covers the jnana. They will never like to be overwhelmed by the kama because they will never like the slavery. The kama means you are becoming slave to the objective enjoyment. The moment you start enjoying you become slave to the enjoyment, you lose the atmarati, you lose the touch with your atma, the joy it is coming from the atma, the placidity which comes from the atma. So for the jnani means for the knowers as well as those who are practicing knowledge, those who want to become knower, for them also it is nitya vairi. It is always inimical. Dushpurena analena cha. The fire which can never be satiated, it is like that. Because more and more suppose it is desire for money, more and more money comes, you will want more. Even if you are the richest person also, it will not go. You will think that next day the other man may become the richest, so I should increase my property still more. It will never be satiated. Now comes the method. Now this is what the description is, that how the kama is our enemy and how it is covering up the knowledge, etc. Now what to do about it? Indriyani mano buddhihi asyadhisthanamuchyate etair vimohayatyesha jnanamavritya dehinam. It is covering up the jnanam of the dehi which is residing in the body. His jnana is covered by this. Etair vimohayati eshaha. It is by the mohana, by the delusion created by it, it is covering the knowledge of the dehi. Now, where is it seated? Suppose we want to get rid of the kama. We have to find out where it is sitting, and we have to apply the treatment there. So he says, Indriyani manaha buddhihi asya adhishthanam uchyate. It is seated in the indriyas, mind, the sense organs, the mind, as well as the intelligence also. So to apply the treatment, we have to apply the treatment in all these areas. Or suppose if we can locate that something is the deeper and another is the effect, something is cause. Always any treatment given to the causal level will be more efficient. Is it not so? Suppose the Ganges has come from the Gomukha and in Gangasagar it has become miles wide. If you want to change the course of the Ganges and if you start pushing the water from Gangasagar, you cannot do. But in the Gomukha it is just a trickle coming down from a stone. If you arrange some stone and make the flow in another direction, the whole Ganges course will change from there. It will take another route. So any treatment we have to apply, if we can locate the mula, the source of it, the basic cause of it, then it will become more efficient. More and more we go to the causal level, deeper causal level, the more efficient it will be. That we have to find out the whole thing. So he says that tasmat, therefore, since they are seated in the indriyas, the mind and the buddhi, tasmat tvam indriya, I have not read, tasmat tvam indriyanyadau niyamya bharatarshava papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. Adau means in the beginning. Adau means first, in the beginning. Tasma, therefore, tvam, you, indriyani adau niyamya. He Bharatarshava, adau indriyani niyamya papmanam prajahihyenam jnana vijnana nashanam. The second word says that this papma, this papa, that is the kama, who is the spoiler of jnana as well as vijnana. Vijnana comes out of jnana. Vijnana means the realized knowledge. First one may have the theoretical knowledge jnana, then only he will have the vijnana. So when jnana is spoiled, automatically vijnana also will be spoiled. So jnana vijnana nashanam, that kama which is spoiling the jnana and vijnana, you catch hold of it, you overcome it. Prajahi means you win over it. How? First you tackle the indriyas. Tasmatvam indriyani adau niyamya. Now this niyamya word is very important. It is not an outer control or suppression. That we should understand. Any suppression applied is never good, because it will again come out, flare up. It is in the second chapter. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavajjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. It is second chapter, 59. 59th verse of second chapter. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dehinaha rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. He says, if you keep the objects of senses away, Vishayas away, either going to the cave or in a jungle where nothing is available, or because of your failing senses you cannot enjoy anymore, so you withdraw from the enjoyment. If you do that, then they will keep away. You will not get the interactions with the Vishayas will not be there. Your indulgence will not be there. But rasa varjam means accept the rasa. Rasa means the taste for enjoying. Rasa means suppose I eat something, some sweet, and the taste remains and I feel again and again eating that. That is the lingering taste. Rasa means the taste inside, which is inside. So even if you keep it away, you will always think of it. That in the mind, inside, the taste of it will be there. So if you forcefully keep the Vishayas away, that rasa will not go. So it will not calm your mind, and the moment you are in the Vishayas, again you will be attracted and repelled by them. The slavery will not go. You will not win over the Vishayas' influences. Ragadvesha also will not go. They will all remain inside. The taste will linger. Rasaha api asya param drishtva nivartate. But when you see the param, that is the soul, it will come again. I will explain it again. When that is seen, we come to know that's my real identity. Then rasaha api asya nivartate. The taste for it also will go, because you will understand the redundancy of the enjoyment. That all the enjoyment, the sukha, the joy, it is coming from within. And our desires are actually suppressing the joy. It is not allowing us to have the joy always. So, once he understands that, he will not run after the Vishayas, because he will get the joy welling forth from the soul. He is happy with that. Atmaratihi. Atmatriptaha. Atmaratihi. We have studied all these. He is not Vishayaratihi. He is Atmaratihi. Now, to do that param drishtva, it is it will not be possible unless you first discipline the sense organs. Because if the mind is always slave to the sense organs, then where is the question of looking within? Many people do not know that what their mind is also. They are so much given to external indulgence and external clinging that they don't know their mind. They have not seen their mind at all. This much of looking within is also not possible. So as long as the sense organs are not disciplined, they are always running after their ragadvesha. It will not be possible to look within. Forget about finding out what is there within and finally identify my real identity. That is why he said Adau. Indriyani niyamya. Niyamya means disciplining, not forcefully restricting, but getting connected to the Viveka Buddhi, that here it will never going to, which I have been discussing all this, that the carrot of happiness, it is never going to fulfill me. If I go on enjoying the Vishayas, we will go on enjoying, but that is not going to fulfill me for permanently. When this Viveka Buddhi is applied, then the Indriyas become niyamita, they get moderated, they become harmonious with us. They may enjoy, but at the same time they will not go wayward, because the Viveka Buddhi will always guide them. They become guided by the Viveka Buddhi. This niyamya I have explained earlier also. It means guided by the Viveka Buddhi. So first they have to be guided by this Viveka Buddhi, looking around that no one has ever become fulfilled by enjoying anything in the world. That permanent fulfillment doesn't come out of it. Knowing that if you enjoy the Vishayas, you will never get deluded. I am repeatedly saying this. That understanding it fully, that even if you enjoy, you will be soon able to outlive it. You will not fall into the trap of it. You will not get deluded by it, that it is going to fulfill me, I get it more and more and more. Then it becomes the pouring ghee into the fire. It will increase further and further. I said the other day, I think I said in this class, not in the morning, that suppose somebody wants to marry. It is a desire. It is okay to marry, but he should not think that, or say marry a particular girl or a particular boy, that his desire is that. There is nothing wrong in getting married to the boy and the girl to fulfill his desire. But he should understand that by marrying I am not going to become fulfilled. Our problem is that somehow if I get married, I will become fulfilled. And then very soon all quarrel and everything, all the disharmony start. That is because of the delusion. If we know that, well, there will be some plus, some minus, whatever comes I will accept, but I feel that this is the way I will take to it, and you do it. Then you will find that very soon you will be outliving the desire also. That is how our people used to walk off at the age of 50 or so. Even the kings used to leave their throne and go away, because they were not clinging to the luxury of the throne. They knew that even if I cling to the luxury of the throne and power and all, I am not going to be permanently happy. Happiness, ultimate fulfillment lies somewhere else. So they will rule the kingdom very well with this knowledge, guided by the Viveka Buddhi. And when they get the inheritor proper, who will rule the kingdom well, they will leave the throne on him and go for Banaprastha or Sannyasa. It was the practice because of this. This outliving is not taking place because we are clinging. So when the children have grown old, they have married, everything is, we get clinging to the grandchildren. So even at 70, 80 also we are not. Living means you don't have to walk away. Nowadays it is difficult. Nobody will get fruit in the forest or vegetable in the forest. So, but in the mind, what is the harm in detaching in the mind? Why are we so much getting involved and always criticizing the next generation, either the Bahu or the son? Generally it is the Bahu. That is because of our attachment. That much we can keep away. That is not because of staying with them. It is because the possessiveness we have. We must understand. World has nothing to do. World is fine. Even for a knower also world is the same. What happens is the worldliness goes. Similarly, you can possess a huge kingdom. The whole earth can be your kingdom also. But the possessiveness has not to be there. That has to be removed. That is causing all the problem. Now, this niyamya, that indriyani niyamya, means by this viveka buddhi, you have to discipline the indriyas. Don't call it control or suppress. It is not. Suppression is never good. Control is never good. It is disciplining the sense organs with the knowledge of the reality. With the viveka buddhi, we are disciplining the senses. Without discipline, no freedom can be had. I have said so many times that without disciplining and learning the language, you will not have the freedom in the world of literature. Without practicing music, you will never have the freedom in the world of music. Without practicing even sports also, you will never have the freedom into the world of sport. Any freedom means you have to undergo the discipline and you have to master it. You have to discipline your body, mind, personality, integrate it, and then only we can enjoy the freedom in that. Then he goes over to the whole sequence, that where the treatment has to be applied with what manner, in what manner. Indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhyah param manaha indriyani paranyahuhu indriyebhyah param manaha manasastu para buddhihi yo buddhe paratastu saha. He says, Indriyani parani iti ahuhu. It is said that the Indriyas are extremely powerful. Parani means very powerful. It is so. And the whole world picture, the world perception, it is only because of our sense organs. So that it is the sense organs which is giving us the whole interaction with the world. They are really powerful, extremely powerful. But Indriyebhyah param manaha. But superior to the Indriyas is the mind, because without the conjunction of the mind, the senses will not do anything. Because finally, the senses, all the sense perceptions, they have to travel through the mind, and the joy is produced in the mind. The dukkha, sukha, everything is produced in the mind. So without the conjunction of the mind, the Indriyas will be ineffective. So Indriyebhya param manaha, superior to the sense organs is the mind. What does it mean? It means that if you want to really win over the Indriyas, the slavery to the Indriyas, you have to look into the cause, that mind, which is at a deeper level, which is superior to the Indriyas. If you can change your mind, discipline your mind, purify your mind, then automatically the Indriyas will be sublimated. You don't have to struggle with them. That is how we have to understand. Then, manasastu para buddhihi. Even superior to the mind is the buddhi, because the buddhi, intelligence, is the guiding power of the mind. With the buddhi's guidance only we can direct the mind, and the mind will direct the Indriyas. Yo buddhehe paratastu saha. Now here only, up to this there was no spirituality. Indriyani paranyahu, indriyebhyah param manaha, manasastu para buddhi. It is absolutely all right. Only the spirituality is coming. Yo buddhe paratastu saha. There is something still superior to buddhi, which we do not know generally. Although we know, but we don't know it fully. So he is indicating that there is something even transcending the buddhi. That is it, he is saying. Yo buddhehe parataha tu saha. That is it. There you have to see how it can be controlled. That causal level is there. Further he says, I will get back again. This will need quite a lot of interpretation, and I will compare with the Kathopanishad also, which is a little different. Evam buddhehe param buddhva. Evam buddhehe param buddhva. That is knowing what is there transcending the buddhi. Now, Indriyas have to be treated, so you can try to go to the mind to treat the Indriyas. To treat the mind, you can go to the buddhi. Now, he has said that Indriyani mano buddhi asya adhishthana muchyate. That means the kama is sitting in the buddhi also. How are you going to treat the buddhi? You get it? So going to that causal level, you have to treat the buddhi. So you have to go to something which is superior to buddhi. That is what we are saying, the Atma, which is when our buddhi gets connected to the Atma, we call it Viveka Buddhi. That is our real identity. Whatever expands us, whatever gives us inner strength, whatever gives us a lightness, that is the contact with our Atma. That is what we have been discussing all along. So if we get connected to the transcendence, to the which is transcending the buddhi, buddhehe param. It says evam buddhehe param buddhva. Now buddhehe param drishtva they have not said. Buddhehe param buddhva. That also has to be understood. Initially the buddhi itself will understand what is superior to buddhi. That is, the buddhi has to be trained to understand what is superior to it. That is the Viveka Buddhi they are talking about. Viveka Buddhi has to be applied. Evam buddhe param buddhva samstabhya atmanam atmana. Knowing the truth which is transcending the buddhi and fixing, stabilizing your own body, mind, personality in that. Atmana, atmanam samstabhya. By your personality you have to stabilize your personality there. There is no other force involved. It is our force which has to do the job. Our own personality do the job. Jahi shatrum mahabaho kamarupam durasadam. That invincible enemy called kama, in the form of kama. Win over that, O Mahabaho. Here he has used Mahabaho because Mahabaho means the great arm. That is, Arjuna was a great fighter. Now I have pointed out, Arjuna, that who is the real enemy in you. You win over that by knowing the buddhehe param. That is what they said in the 2.59 also say, Rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When you get connected to the param, then only the rasa will go. See, in Kathopanishad, the same thing they give with a little, it's a nice example. They are comparing our body with a chariot. He says, Atmanam rathinam viddhi shariram rathamevatu buddhim tu sarathim viddhi manah pragrahamevacha. He says there is a chariot and the master of the chariot is sitting on the chariot. Rathi means the master of the chariot. Where will the chariot go? Where the master wants, it has to go there. Master has to direct whether it is the Sarathi or the charioteer will have to take according to the order of the master where he wants to go. He says, Atmanam Rathinam Viddhi, that consider your Atma. You can consider your Atma as we know that there is I within us, the consciousness in us. That I is the Rathi sitting on the chariot. What chariot? Body chariot. He is residing inside. Shariram ratham evatu. The body is the ratham. Buddhim tu sarathim viddhi. Consider the intelligence to be the sarathi or the charioteer who will drive the chariot where you want. Manaha pragraham evacha. Pragraham means the reins. Lagam. So, mind is the lagam. Why? Because the buddhi cannot directly operate on the indriyas. Buddhi directly cannot operate. Buddhi has to direct the mind and the mind will operate on the indriyas. So the Sarathi, if he has to drive the chariot without the lagam, without the rein, the horses will go haywire. He will not be able to control. So the pragraham, the rein, is the mind. Then, Indriyani hayanahu vishayamsteshu gocharan atmendriya manoyuktam bhoktetyahur manishinaha. This description the Manishis says, the wise people, they give this description. What is this? Indriyani hayanahu. Haya means horses. Indriyas are like the horses. The horses first have to be put a cover on two sides. Otherwise, the moment they see the grazing field, they will come down from the street and go down to the grazing field. They will not take you according to your direction. So, tasmat tvam indriyani adau niyamya. This is the adau niyamya. First you have to put that, don't look here and there, put that. So, after that, indriyani hayanahuhu, vishayams teshu gocharan. All the whole world of objects and objective situations, they are the grazing field for the horses. So, naturally you are moving in that field. If you want to reach the goal, you have to first of all train the horses, bridle them, discipline them. That is the first thing you have to do. Then only with the lagam you have to hold properly, and all these things will come one after another. He says, Atmendriya mano yuktam. The Atma along with the sense organs and the mind. Now, I think next day I will again go deeper into it, comparing it with the various places where this body-mind personality complex has been discussed in Bhagavad Gita, particularly in the 13th chapter. That will be very instructive. So, when that Atma, the sense organs and the mind, they are all integrated, then we are called the Bhokta. The Manishis call us the Bhokta. Bhokta means the enjoyer. Our enjoyership will not be there. If the Atma is not there, the body will not be able to. If the Atma is there, but the mind and the Indriyas are not there, then also not be there. If the Indriyas are not there, you will not know the world at all. If the mind is not there, the Indriyas will interact, but you will not know Sukha, Dukkha, anything at all. So only when the three get integrated, they are working together, then we become the enjoyer. We become the Karta also, Karta Bhokta, Kartribhava, Bhoktribhava. We become the doer, we become the enjoyer when all of them together come. Now he is saying that Yastu Vijnanavan Bhavati Samanaskaha Sada Shuchihi. Just the opposite of that. That means he is always guided by the Viveka Buddhi, and his mind is always connected to the Buddhi. It is not going haywire. And he is always Shuchihi, means he is not guided by the Ragadvesha. His mind is pure, he is not guided by Ragadvesha. Whatever will take him to the auspicious goal, he selects that, according to that he moves. Earlier in the beginning I said, Shreyas and Prayas. He always selects the Shreyas. By his Viveka Buddhi, he always selects the path of Shreyas in preference to the Prayas. Whereas those who are guided by the Ragadvesha, they want to possess more. They don't want to lose what they are already possessing. So they are guided by that possessiveness to choose always the prayers, which is immediately pleasant, but which will take them away from the auspicious goal. All those knowledge should be applied everywhere. Satu tad padam apnoti. He attains that ultimate goal. Yasmat bhuyo na jayate. From where he doesn't get born again. Now here, as I said, the Upanishads will often give use the religious model of rebirth, etc. But there would be another meaning also. This janma mrityu, repeated birth, rebirth, etc. They actually means changefulness. Anything the effect gets born, the cause dies. So the whole world around us is always undergoing birth and death. It need not be bodily birth and bodily death. It means he attains a truth which is immortal, unchanging. There is no birth and death there. Tasmat bhuyo na jayate. He doesn't get born means he doesn't die also. That is why we call it immortality. There is no change at all. He attains that goal. Then saying, he is concluding here, Vijnana sarathirystu manah pragrahavan naraha sodhvanah paramapnoti tadvishno paramam padam. Vijnana sarathirystu. For whom the sarathi, that is intelligence, is the vijnana, is the viveka buddhi. Manah pragrahavan, whose mind is a very powerful rein. He is holding the rein also tightly, and the rein is, suppose you pull the lagam and it yields, then again the horses will run anywhere. So to have a proper, first of all, the sarathi has to look to the master of the chariot. He should not look here and there and have his own decision. He should carry on with the master's decision. And where is the goal for the master of the chariot? That we have already discussed. The soul, the goal is Brahman, the all-pervading Atma, the transcendental, the real Atma. Now it is Dehatma Bodha. That means we consider our body-mind personality to be I am. So that the consciousness is small. That is the soul, that is the Jiva. And ultimate of this knowledge is Brahma, Atma, Ekatva Bodha. When you come to know that the Atma is nothing but the Brahman, the universal consciousness, there is no fragmentation at all. It is all one. That is his goal. That is why he is calling Tad Vishnoho Paramam Padam. That is the pedestal of Vishnu. Now Vishnu is not the 400 Vishnu. Vishnu means Vyapnoti iti Vishnu. Everywhere the Vishnu is the all-pervading reality. That is the Atma, that is the Paramatma, that is the Brahman. Vyapnoti iti Vishnu, who is all-pervading. So Vishnu Paramam Padam means he becomes all-pervading. That means he identifies himself with the one universal Atma. So Advanah Paramapnoti, of the samsara. Other one he said, he samsaram chadi gacchati. In this case he crosses over the worldliness, not the world. It is not that it is something you take your chariot beyond the world and reach Vishnu's Paramam Padam. It is not like that. The chariot doesn't have to move. Sitting there, the chariot will become a chariot of light. That is, it is not that the chariot is, our body is going and reaching Vishnu's Parampadam. The body does not move. Just by understanding, reading Bhagavad Gita or Upanishad, the chariot gets fused into the consciousness, that small I, Jiva, gets fused into the universal I, the horses, the lagam, the sarathi, everything, including the chariot, everything becomes consciousness. Is it not? So the whole thing vanishes into the consciousness, just sitting there. It is not a real movement of the chariot at all. Are you able to understand? So saying that, he is giving a similar verse as it is in Bhagavad Gita. Rather, Bhagavad Gita is taken from here. Indriyebhyah parahyartha arthebhyascha param manaha manasastu para buddhihi buddheratma mahan paraha mahatah param avyaktam avyaktat purushah paraha purushanna param kinchit Sakashtha sa paragatihi. Here some more concepts are given, which I have not discussed. That what is Mahat, what is Abhyakta, what is Purusha. These are Vedantic concepts, various concepts are there. Not so important, but it is better to know. He says that Indriyebhyah parahi artha. Here he is saying, artha means whatever the Indriyas are sensing, the Panchabhuta, the elements of the world. He is giving it the superior position than the Indriyas. Why? Two ways of interpreting it. One is the Indriyas are slave to the objective world. So where we start, the Indriyas are slave to the objective world. Another is that if you consider the Panchabhuta, the Indriyas are made of the Panchabhuta. The Indriyas are a product of the world. Consider it Panchabhuta or whatever. They are product of nature. They are product of the world. So the elements with which the whole universe is made, with that only the Indriyas also are made. They are product of the Panchabhuta. But he is saying that Athevyascha param manaha. But this Panchabhuta, superior to that is the mind. So thereafter we don't have any further problem. It is same as Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because this Panchabhuta concept and their appearance, everything is happening in the mind. So the mind is superior to the external world. Without the mind, you won't have any perception of the external world at all. Although the Indriyas are perceiving the world, Indriyas are made of nature. In the mind, whatever we are discussing also, they are all appearing in the mind. Without that, no concept of God, no concept of Vedanta also will be there without mind. So the mind is definitely subtler and superior to the universe. Manasastu para buddhihi. And superior to mind is the buddhihi, where the revelation is taking place, the intelligence which guides the mind, which reveals the existence of the mind also. Suppose I have mind, how do you know? It is not seen through the senses. Our mind is not seen through the senses. Is it seen? Similarly, can you infer it? There are two kinds of knowledge only, pratyaksha and paroksha. Pratyaksha means directly perceived by the sense organs. Paroksha means whatever we perceive with the sense organs, from there it can be deduced. Like the elementary particles, etc. Nobody has ever seen. Whatever you see, either through the electron microscope or cloud chamber or so, from there we are deducing that this particle is there, that particle is there, these are the properties, etc. They have not been seen, they are all inference. These are the general two knowledges, pratyaksha and paroksha. But that I have a mind, it is neither pratyaksha nor paroksha. Is it not so? Even if we prove that you don't have mind, you will not accept. I know that I have mind. Similarly, that I am, it is also not pratyaksha, not paroksha. It's a direct perception. That is taking place directly in the soul, in the consciousness. And this revelation of anything, revelation of the mind, revelation of the universe, all these are the property of the intelligence. Intelligence is the basic revealer in us. That consciousness, next to consciousness, is the revelation is taking place by the intelligence. So, manasastu para buddhi, buddher atma mahan paraha. Still higher than buddhi is our consciousness, atma or the jiva, the I in us. Now he is going to some of the concepts. Mahata mahan atma. Buddher atma mahan paraha. See, we can think in terms of the individual level as well as the cosmic level. We can think of the individual intelligence as well as the cosmic intelligence. Individual mind, cosmic mind. Like that, the Atma also, the individual Atma and the cosmic consciousness. Whenever we are saying Mahan, Mahat, it is the cosmic we are meaning. So from individual we have to go to the cosmic level. Mahat, that is the cosmic intelligence. Mahata param avyaktam. If you go further beyond, then it is avyakta, it is not manifest. But the whole universal manifestation is taking place from somewhere. So this avyakta is an inference, it's a model that there is something which is getting expressed as the whole universe. It is called Maya also. I don't want to go into those philosophical details, so I am just hurrying through. Avyaktat purushah paraha. That supreme purusha, supreme consciousness which we call Paramatma or real Atma or Brahman, that is even superior to the Avyakta. Because Avyakta means unmanifest and Vyakta universe means manifest universe. These two are also duality. Compared to the unmanifest, the manifest is there. But the supreme consciousness is beyond all description, beyond all such duality. It is non-dual. So Purusha is the supreme. That is what in the other verse he has said, that Purusha param kinchit sa kashtha sa paragatihi. Beyond Purusha you cannot go. There is nothing comparable to that or surpassing that. That is the ultimate goal. That is the supreme goal for us. Why? Because that is revealing everything. If anything else is there which reveals it, that will become the Purusha. The revealer will become the Purusha, not the revealed. Anything that is revealed by consciousness is an object before the consciousness. I have discussed many times. Anything that is revealed, the thought, it is revealed by the consciousness. So the thought is an object before the consciousness. Even the concept of God, it is revealed by the consciousness. So the God becomes an object. Consciousness is the real supreme. Even if we describe this ultimate truth by any description, Satchidananda or so, that again becomes a concept of the mind that is revealed by the consciousness. So nothing, no description is fit for this ultimate truth. The ultimate truth is beyond description, that is why. It is a non-dual truth where there cannot be any concept of the mind at all. That is why we say that Jan neti neti vachanair nigama avochuhu. That the truth, about the truth, our Vedas, our Upanishads speak about by na iti na iti. Na iti means you give any description. Oh, then is it this? Is it Dvaita? No. Is it Advaita? No. Is it beyond that? Then also no. Everything is no, because if it said that iti, you can express it as a concept, then it becomes your concept of your mind. It is an object before the consciousness. The consciousness which reveals all the concepts is the truth. So it has to go beyond everything. Yan neti neti vachanair nigamavachu. Why did I say if it is Advaita? No, because Advaita is also a concept. Then why do you say that it is Advaita and we are using it? Because with the Advaita knowledge we treat the Dvaita which we are suffering from birth. Our mind is automatically given to duality and multiplicity. We are always finding ourselves different from the world. Everything is different from me. Second is always there. Multiplicity is always there. So, Dvaita nobody has to incorporate in us. Dvaita or Bahutva, multiplicity. To treat that delusion of Bahutva, we are using the Advaita concept. When Advaita has neutralized the Dvaita, then what remains is the truth. It is beyond Dvaita and Advaita. There are many verses like that. Dvaita Advaita vivarjite samarase maunam param sammatam. This is from Praudhanubhuti. Dvaita Advaita vivarjite samarase maunam param sammatam. Ultimate is Dvaita, Advaita, Vivarjite. When you throw off both Dvaita and Advaita, that is called the real Samarasa, the Samatva. We have been talking about Samatva. These are all concepts. The real Samatva is when the Dvaita, Advaita has neutralized Dvaita and both have been rejected. Dvaita, Advaita, Vivarjite, Samarase. Then how do you express it? Maunam param sammatam. You cannot express it, silence. It's not expressible. The real truth is not expressible. Shuddham Vishuddham Avicharam Anantarupam. There are many verses. After saying this, Kathopanishad says, Esha sarveshu bhuteshu gudhaha atma na prakashate drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshibhihi. That after all this discussion and all, he is saying that, but this Atma, which is the supreme, the most supreme, that is Sarveshu Bhuteshu Gudaha. It is just inside everybody. You don't have to go to the Mars or go beyond the galaxy to find out God there. It is right here. Not only right here, it is the I in us. It is I whom we are, that I am, right there. But it is gudhaha, it is hiding. Na prakashate, that is why we are not able to see. Na prakashate. Drishyate, but how do you see? Na prakashate means then what is the point in doing any sadhana? It is not seen. No. Drishyate tu agraya buddhya sukshmaya sukshmadarshivi. How many Visheshana they have used? When the buddhi becomes very sharp, sharpened, purified, becomes very subtle, then by that it is seen. It is seen means not with the eyes, it is an ikshana, it is a vision of the buddhi. Now actually the buddhi is not seeing, the buddhi is sharpened, treated with this concept, then it is not the sharp buddhi it is seeing. The buddhi has imbibed the whole inertness of the world. By constantly interacting with the fragmented world, with the gross world, the buddhi has imbibed all the grossness, fragmentedness. That has to be treated. So by constantly interacting with this samarasa concept, with the soul concept, what we are doing is, and we are applying a treatment to the buddhi, purifying it. Purifying means making it shuchi, means removing the ragadvesha from this, removing the differential notion from there. Constantly treating. When the buddhi becomes pure, then it reveals, the soul reveals itself in that. We don't have to do anything. It was there. It is called a smriti. It's a memory. We get back the memory of what we are, what we really are. Now here, normally, we are slave to the objective situation. That I don't have to explain again, because whatever the situation, we get always affected, either happy or unhappy? Because we are slave to the attraction, repulsion, the raga dvesha. Actually, we are not slave to the objects. We are slave to the object and objective situation because of our raga dvesha. If we can win over our clinging to what we like and hatred towards what we dislike, in the same world, nothing will be able to enslave us. We will be free. So this attraction and repulsion towards world objects and situation, they are actually always pulling us and pushing us. The physical body with 5 senses. Now, as the senses are responding to the world with the raga dvesha, the mind following the senses also becomes the slave to the world. You see the arrow, I have done life controlled by raga dvesha, slave to the world, below, the blue. So the mind following the body and the senses, they become slave to the world objects and worldly situation. Now buddhi also, the Vishaya buddhi, which is intelligence under the clutch of worldliness, which has not been purified, not given the viveka, the knowledge of our true self or anything. That normally our buddhi is following the mind. Whatever the mind says, we try to achieve that. Whatever the senses want, and the mind also follows that, the buddhi tries to achieve that, attain that. So following the mind, the buddhi is also slave to the external situation and external world objects. Is it clear? The whole sequence has to be reversed. That is, we have to know about our real identity, which I said, even if you are not spiritual, everybody knows that within us, deep inside, there is an inner voice which is always telling us what is the right thing. That is, it is always for love, expansion, embracing everybody, compassion. Those are the qualities of that. That inner voice everybody has. You cannot say you don't know yourself. Whatever little mistake we do, the inner voice will say that you are doing it wrong, you are doing it wrong. We are not heeding it because of our slavery to the world, clinging and attraction and repulsion. You cannot say that the inner voice is not there. It is there, but we are not heeding it because the external ragadvesha, they are ruling us. The more we will be freed of ragadvesha, we will heed the internal voice. So the buddhi can be segregated in two. One is the viveka buddhi, another is the vishaya buddhi. Viveka buddhi is always connected to our real inner voice, our real identity. So once the buddhi is connected to that, the buddhi will direct the mind also. You see the arrow gets reversed. Now the whole, this becomes niyamya, means the control is inside, not outside. The real identity gives rise to the viveka buddhi. The viveka buddhi controls the mind, and then the mind controls the indriyas. So by the control of such a mind, the indriyas also behave. So whole thing becomes integrated with the real identity. The whole sequence gets inverted. That is the master of the world, life anchored in real identity. Now I have shown two more golden arrows on top. You see, one is connected to the mind, one is connected to the physical body also. This is to say that when we actually have the self-experience and we get connected to our real identity, that itself will have a sublimating effect on the body and the mind both. You don't have to get connected by the applying the viveka always and then connected. This kind of a effortfulness will not be there. That real identity, the soul experience, param drishtva, that means the param drishtva. Rasavajjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. When param is seen, when the param is experienced, then automatically the rasa of the mind, the rasa of the physical, the senses, everything is sublimated because you understand the rasa is coming from within, from the soul. That is the self property of the soul. Always joy is welling forth. We are suppressing it by our desires and affectedness. That is not allowing us to know that joy, which is always welling forth from within. So that identity will have a sublimating effect directly on the mind and the physical body, which will make it, which will help it to win over the slavery to the world objects or the slavery to the raga dvesha. Prabuddham vimuktam vikārādihinam prasannam sada nitya bodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam Bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi